Okay, darlings, we are live. And I hope you heard that song this time. Did it not play? It's gonna be one of those days, I guess. Well, if you didn't hear a song, I messed up again. Tomorrow I will try to remember, make sure my nearsighted self unchecks that box. I thought I did. Oh well. So I've just been sitting here rocking out to something you can't hear. If I was younger, I'd be embarrassed. Okay, we're going to continue with this little strange painting that's going to go to Gloria. It's becoming miniature collages here. Nope, not too much. I don't want it dropping. And I'm just reminded to put my glasses on. Now, when I was a kid watching sitcoms, I remember old people looking for their glasses only to find them on their heads. And I thought, oh, come on, I've been wearing glasses since 4th grade. If I don't put them on right out of bed, I walk into walls. How could you possibly lose your glasses? And lately I've been discovering how you do it. Since I got cataract surgery, I've got slightly better vision in a way. So I actually am able to walk around the house without my glasses and not walk into a wall. But that also makes me forget, where the hell did I put my glasses? Okay, I think we're going to go down this side again. That is dark. And as I've said before, metallics or iridescents are very transparent. Okay, okay. And this time I made sure that the glue gun was heated up before I went live. Come. Can't glue down over wet paint. Fortunately, watercolor paper dries quickly. Got those little angel hairs that we don't want. That one got sloppy. God, this stuff, low temperature melt, cools down quickly. Yeah. I do not like being sloppy. So tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Do you have any special things you know, like to do every New Year's Eve? Or is that a time to party or a time to hide from parties? I have my own way I like to celebrate the incoming year. Since we live one day at a time and it's always now, it's kind of, well, you know, we just like to mark time, make things special, make things stand out. So I do enjoy a ritual. If I'm not celebrating with somebody, um, like having a drink and a snack together at midnight, that's fun. But other than that, I like to do things on the New Year's Eve and the day, if I'm up at midnight, which lately sometimes that happens. I like to do things that I intend to do throughout the coming year. So for me, celebrating the new year means doing some painting, some writing, and some cooking. Stuff I love to do every single day. I want more of it and bigger. More. So I will be doing all those things to one degree or another. Now, for those who know me well, you might notice that music is not on that list. I used to bring it in with music because that was my profession and my passion. And I don't have the setup anymore or the stamina anymore, and I don't have the lungs anymore. But it's become much more important for me to, much more, important than pleasurable to work on the writing because I've got those projects. Although this is book number 3 for Nomaris, it originally was started at the same time I was still working on the first Nomaris. And it wasn't going to be part of the series at all. It's gone through many changes since the 25 years ago that I did the first book. Well, that's cute. I still feel like I need a little more, something silly maybe. No, we'll call it a day with this one. And just put it on the other desk for mailing. Oh. Try not to break this time. I did send it 2025 because, you know, technically it is. Okay, this one. Oh, you know, we've got this really wild pink. Maybe I will make a cutout flower with that. Let's see, a little piece of paper. Oh, I've already got some pink on that. I just psyched myself out. I'm used to working with candles. I should say, I'm used to having a lot of candles around me. But I've just recently switched to LEDs for the holidays because I like to keep candles burning and that's not safe or really good for depriving one of oxygen in the room. So LEDs it is. And I brought one to the table today. When it changed to an actual flame color for a second, I thought I was going to burn my brush. So, ha-ha on me. All right, we let you dry. Maybe we've got some yellow. Oop, there's some more yellow on here. Lemon yellow, dark yellow. We'll go with the dark. Although I really do love playing with the watercolors. I really am looking forward to getting back to the acrylics and my larger canvas or canvae. But it occurred to me also this morning, before I got out of bed, might be a good idea to do a smaller version of the giant canvas here, because that one is like 4 feet tall. And I've been making the parts to put on it, because it is also kind of a construction, not just a painting. So I thought maybe I should do it on a canvas panel and make sure I've got the dyeing process and the gluing process down where I want to risk putting it on the big guy. All right, we've got a nice variety of colors. We'll cut those out and glue those on after this is drying. So put this aside for the moment. Now today I watched a video for crocheting trends coming up this year. Now I do not crochet. I know 2 stitches. That's the extent of my crocheting skills. I can't read patterns to save my life because I can't focus on them. And I find patterns boring. Unless I'm learning something, and then I do. Yeah. But I don't crochet, which is why I was looking into the knitting machines, which is kind of like an automatic crochet event. And they're pretty cool. But then I realized that they have to kind of be fastened down when you're working on them. They move a lot. And I saw one young lady stick it to her work table with nanotape, which I have and I could use, but I don't have a place where I could just leave it and come back to it the next day. There's always something else going on around here. My environment's just too small. So, although I'd really love to attack that hobby, I can't. But it doesn't matter. I like to look at crochet stuff, but today's little video was educational more than about teaching you. It didn't teach you anything. It was teaching you really what the colors, the trends going on right now, and that will probably go on through the next year. And that's what I found interesting, because the color palettes, you know, artists and designers, they come up with these color palettes for the year. So industries basically make decisions on what kind of dye jobs they're going to do and all that. So the in colors right now go to two extremes. One is very kid-like. It is nostalgic, zoo, circus kinds of figures. The old innocent stuff, or what we used to think of as innocent. Like when we played bingo the other night, my friend and I spotted a Jack-in-the-Box. And we're like, if that's from the 60s, that's worth some money. Also, holy shit, a Jack-in-the-Box. We haven't seen that since we were this tall. So we checked it out, and it was something way too new to be usable. Also, it was kind of beaten up. But the nostalgia for us, just knowing that that was a toy we played with as a child. Kids' toys were very limited back then, you know. So it was fun, but that's the kind of thing that they're reviving this year. But on the other side are the really super natural colors. Instead of the really bright ones, they're going with the mossy greens. The official colors are like a khaki color and white, an off-shell, like an off-white, eggshelly white. That's Pantone's color, Cloud Dancer. And yeah, you hear Cloud Dancer, that's the color of the year, freaking white. That's like every blank page is white. But they are interpreting this, after having the same reaction I just had, they're interpreting this as a society seeking for a softness, and all these colors are getting more soft and warmer and more natural. And the counter side of that is something they're calling like jelly gummy colors, stuff like anything that can make big and squashy looking, bright colors, candy colors. Now, I can see why that's attractive. You know, that's going to really catch every child's eye. But it's also going to include a lot of waste that's going to end up in the landfill, that's going to end up destroying ecosystems. It's like, why don't we just cut that out right now? I believe that the trend toward the natural colors is also a trend toward natural colors that we get through natural dyes. So the extreme colors that we see are ones that are industry has to create them, make these special dyes to get those certain shades of hot pink, like this. You know, this is not a color you find in nature. And I've been out in nature, and I can tell you, aside from some, cactus flowers, that's where you get your most brilliant colors, the cacti. After that, this is all manufactured. No one's collecting cactus flowers to make a dye. So, yeah, there's a lot of chemical stuff going on that really, should we be supporting this anymore? All of this stuff, by the way, and then they come out with the colors of the year, all that, this is because of industry. It's not because the national choice has been, we want khaki to be the color of the year. Really? Something that our military uniforms are made out of right now? You want that to be the color of the year while we're fighting fascism in this country? To me, that's just shitty thinking. But again, on the other side, there's always more than one side. On the other side, we have khaki is a pretty common color in nature. It's the color of dry straw, and straw that's been left out in the field for too long. We can find it in nature anyway. Not in something vibrant and living, but, and then the other color being like an olivey green. Looks like fatigues. The stuff that we used to not even allow to be worn on the street until this crazy crowd decided that military wear is cool. I don't know why they're even allowed to do that. But anyway, it is what it is, and I have seen people wearing hot pink camouflage clothes. I mean, hot pink and gray. Like, where did they come up with this? This is not camouflaging anywhere. I'm sure a deer will find you very easily in the woods. Oh, that's right. I wanted to do little short a flower here. Oh, but we're not short on these. Anybody wants a fortune cookie, I will smash one for you gladly. I have a whole bowl of them, donated by the guy who owns the restaurant I eat at. Now, one of the coolest things about that restaurant are these two photographs of a man bringing the Olympic torch across the country. And it turns out, see, the restaurant owner's uncle. Like, wow, no wonder you're so proud of him. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's enough. We don't want to overdo it. So here it is. I got so tired of doing Christmas and winter already. And I love the winter. But suddenly spring is back on the table. I guess because I'm just looking forward to my projects and moving forward. It's an exciting time of year. In the old days, what I loved about winter were the seed catalogs. I used to collect all these seed catalogs, and all winter, you know, you go through planning your garden and rearranging how you're going to do your garden, and it's always over ambitious. I always wanted to plant about 100 square feet more than I had the energy to deal with. But all winter, you know, it's a dreaming time. To stay cozy, make your lists. And now that I can't do any gardening, I have to have other things to fill my winter reverie. Something to indulge in while I'm sipping on my hot cocoa. I'm going to find an easier way to get this stuff off. It's too bad the only place I could find this was through Temu, because I'm not buying from them anymore. Oh, if you are in the South, especially anywhere in Texas, please go to the FDA.gov online and look at recalls. So many products were just recalled that went out to a whole bunch of stores across the South and Midwest that are full of rat shit and more. And I mean, they're not just saying food, we're talking about Advil. It's like, what? So, right now would be a good time to go to the FDA.gov site and check the list. Make sure that you're not in a state that got a whole bunch of, well, a shitload of shit. Stuff that you cannot eat. And like I said, it's in your medicines. It's in the over-the-counter medicines too. It's not just food. So yeah, we all have to be aware of what's going on right now. I guess cutting all those government employees wasn't the smartest thing to do, eh? 300,000 government employees gone. I'm gonna go to 2026, even though it's not true. Just because it's hard to put the winter of 25 on a spring-looking card. Okay, let's get this one taped down. What a quiet day. I'm live, aren't I? Sometimes I wonder. One thing I very rarely paint when I do trees is palm trees. I really love the mountain California. I thought when I moved there, the first time I saw palm trees, coming back from LAX, just rows of them, you know, on the side of the street, going down the road. They reminded me of mop paint brushes, you know, straight up, a little bent, and a mop on the very top. It's like, that is the silliest looking tree. It's like, it just looks like a grass. It doesn't even look like a tree. And I think I might have been onto something. I think there is I should look that up. Although I can't do it right this minute. Oops, sorry. Wreaking havoc on my desktop. Okay, let's have another fun, silly-ish one. I want them to be more colorful. Oh, I know. I need to get a little, what is that? Sprinkles. Favorite saying. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. It wouldn't matter if I left the paint on the tape and just to dry, but I'm kind of clumsy and I tend to touch it while it's wet and drag it on other things, so it pays for me to be nice and neat to start where I can. Looks like I kicked the thing again. The tripod with the camera on it. Okay. I need a smaller brush. Oh, you're an old workhorse, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Okay. Now this is pretty close to the official green that they're going to be pushing in yarn and fabrics. So if you're interested in making things for public consumption that matches the fabrics that will be offered this year for throw pillows and couches and all that, you might want to tailor your art to use more of those popular colors, the grays, the warm browns, la la la. Just think nature, you're covered. Wrong blue. There you go. Okay. Oopsie. Calm down. Let that dry somewhere over here. Okay. Oh yeah, I can't sing. I sing all day when I'm not around. I don't mean like wail. I just pick happy little tunes, and that's how I am. But you can't do that unconsciously when you're on YouTube. Greetings, my grandson. How art thou today? Good answer. I am that I am. Okay. I was just writing my thoughts on the law situation down. Ah, that's always good for retrospection and assisting introspection. So these are done. And did you have a new revelation? Hey, don't you misact, my dear. Just got you yesterday. Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. I had coffee. That statement, there's a hidden current of warning. Hey, it's misbehaving. I'm Miss Corny's cat. No, shh, shh. Yeah, I think at this point, there won't be too many revelations on this particular subject because you have been thinking about it actively for a long time. And you actually have to stop thinking about it if you want something new to pop into your head, like an epiphany, should there be one. That's what I mean. You've already been through this. It's been 2 years of solid thinking about it. So, yeah, it's a good idea. Just put it down. It's something you can look back at years from now. question. Did you do it by hand with your, you know... She won't talk to you now? Whoa. All right. Well, you know, there's more than one way to connect with her. Right now, verbally is not the way, which is not a healthy situation by any means. She's cutting you out. That's also how she deals with her problems with your dad, which is why they have the relationship that they do. I get it. Just hang in at least a few more days. It's a shame that the adults that should be a better example can't be, because they're too hung up on their own issues. So that's just it. You know, everybody chooses their adventure. There's no need to resent anybody, and I don't think you do. You appreciate what you can learn from them. You take that and just try to be loving, you know, just as a human to human. And your mom's got a story, and obviously a battle is going on in her. She's got a lot of inner conflict here. So that's not your fault, and you can't resolve it. Like I said, they have been set in their mental ways for a long time, Charlie. And yes, but you can't expect anybody to help, because it is your battle. And don't make it a battle. See, that's the problem, is even the phrasing in the mind is setting up for a fight when it doesn't have to go that way. You have to learn to use your energy as a creator, and that's actually what's going to get you ahead anyway in this world. So do an imaginary exercise, all right? Just when you lay down tonight, imagine your higher self, the part of you that's invisible but bigger, right over there, right over you. The real you, having a talk with the real her, the one that's not caught up in the particular adventure where we have amnesia about our true self. Try to rise above it, as a fantasy even, all right? A meditation exercise. And tell her how you feel from the heart. Matter of fact, you don't even have to use words. It's the feelings you're trying to express to her, so that she can communicate on a different level. No, that's not going to help either one of you. You have a connection that you cannot get rid of. She's your mother. And if you expect to, or hope for any help, you're going to have her on your side. You cannot feed animosity. It's just going to undermine your own goals. Well, that's what I'm saying, is right now you can't do that, all right? You already dropped the bomb, all right? You got to wait for the radiation to disperse a little bit. You just got to stay mum. No, don't even think about the conversation right now. Like I'm saying, you have to have it on a metaphysical level rather than a physical level, because you're pushing against a brick wall right now, because her emotions are very strong. You can't fight or converse with someone who has a block they have to deal with on their own. Emma, my darling, how are you, honey? Happy almost New Year. And yes, it was me who sent greeting cards. All right. I think of you. I'm just not good at email. Charlie, that's the best thing to do, is wait, but have that conversation in your head, okay, to her. But it has to be done on a higher level, meaning before you even try that, you've got to be totally chill. You've got to be relaxed. You've got to not be worried about the future or even thinking about the future per se. You've got to be cool, emotionally cool. And then when you rise and you feel lighter, like when you think of something happy, when you're on that higher plane, you can communicate with each other as humans, but you are connecting on a higher level. So you don't have to fight things out on the human level. No, if they're stressing you out, you're holding them responsible for your feelings. That doesn't go. Nobody's responsible for your reactions. Nobody is responsible for anything in you except you. So first thing, don't blame how you feel on others. Just because you're not getting what you want from them, you can't be getting emotional about it. You're chill, but you're expecting them to change. You've got to give them some time. You've dropped a mental bomb on them about law school, and now they need time to adjust. Give them that time. It's the holiday season. Try to focus on that. Something neutral or uplifting. Avoid anything heavy right now. It's not going to serve any of you. It'll all work out in the end. The more clear you are on what you desire to do at this point in your life, the easier it's going to be. Look at your life as an adventure. This is just where you're starting. And your road's just begun. And leave room for the unexpected, right, Emma? Well, you told them about it, but it wasn't real enough, okay? They have just gone through more than 2 years of believing in a certain path, mentally preparing for this path. You gradually came to the conclusion that you did, but they didn't take that ride with you. You've got to give them some time to catch up, that's all. If you approach it emotionally like a child, you're going to get childish responses. And it's very clear that in many situations, you have to be the adult in the room. Well, okay, I get that. But the most important person to believe in you is you. When you start feeling self-doubt, just calm yourself down and say, okay, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know I'm feeling anxious or doubtful about my own future, but I know I'll be fine. And then just remind yourself that it's going to be okay. Right now, they just need the time to adjust. Not everybody works at the same rate. And like I said, you were gradually coming to this, and you knew it was heading this way when you started finding you didn't really enjoy the classes. You didn't enjoy the work. Not that work has to be enjoyed, but it wasn't what you really hoped for, and that's all right. But you came to that conclusion before you said it through processes, and they haven't had that advantage. So now you have to give them time. And I'm glad you realize everything's going to be all right. But yes, you're not feeling supported right now, and that's uncomfortable. But neither are you being put out in the street, homeless, friendless, and hungry. So I think it's important to just keep focusing on the pluses right now. And one of the pluses for you is that you have finally made a decision about that particular direction. And you have left yourself a very sensible space during which you can change your mind. You've got 9 months, and in 9 months, you can make a choice. But being stressed out in response to their stress, their upset, that's only going to suck the energy out of you. You won't be able to see what you can do because you'll be focused on the stress. Let it rise. Let it come to you. You don't have to force it. You've got plenty of time. You just don't see that right now. It feels more urgent because they're upset and your mom's not talking to you. I understand why that's upsetting. And I do get it. How do you think I ended up homeless the first time at 17? I made a decision that my parents disagreed with. But their plans for me were way insane and also freaking impossible. So, yeah, well, my stepmother had been, she was, like one of those characters in a Disney movie as the villainess. She wanted me out of the house, so she was looking for a way to get me out. You don't have that situation. You don't have them plotting against you. They just don't want you doing anything rash. Like I said, they're not you, all right? They're not as smart as you, but if you want to prove you are smart, you're going to have to be chill about it. You will find a way because you matter more than the situation. The circumstances are changeable. But what you want to do, what you have to think about, you need to give yourself the room for that while you have a chance to do that. You are not being suddenly... I found myself on the street. I mean, literally on the street. February 7th, 1972. No clue what to do, all right? Totally naive. Didn't even know how to type. I was prepared for college. I was not prepared to go and earn a living, and that's how I became a waitress. But one thing led to another, and although that was very unpleasant beginning and scary, at the same time, I not only survived it, I found ways to thrive in the midst of hell. I became more creative. I ended up forging a career in music. You never know what is going to set you on your path. So my original plan had actually been to go to Israel and work on a kibbutz for a year before continuing my education. When I realized that the family had no money to help me with college, it's like, okay, I can't go to La Sorbonne, and it looks like I can't even go to a community college right now, so I'll go away for a year. I'll get healthy. I'll work. I'll learn how to work. I'll learn some skills by working as a volunteer on the kibbutz. And why not? They will fly me out there, and after a year's contract, they will fly me back to America. So what do I have to lose at 17? And they told me what I had to lose. They said, get out. You want to leave so much? Then get out now. And yeah, reality became super real, super fast. So I know if you have anything better than that, you're going to thrive. You'll find ways to thrive. You will make new connections. You will have new opportunities, but only if you work your own inner magic. You've got to look for what feels good. You've got to get to that high-flying plane in order to allow dreams to come into your reality. It's not hard, but it's harder when you're young like you, really, because so much of your energy as a creator wants to burst forth. And that's just because you're young. I mean, that's how everybody is. They all react differently, but you get all these growth spurts in all levels at your age. So it can be very challenging. Yeah, what turns you on the most? Just in general, and about life, about just being alive, being on the planet. What is it that inspires you? Makes you go, yeah, I'd like to do that today or tomorrow. I'd like to get up and do that. Even if it's not something for a living, not a career, but just what makes you happy. You're happy when you're playing your piano? Yes. There you go. You have a therapist, and therapists are really, really useful. We have someone we can count on. Emma's got a great therapist. I am so glad for her. Not everybody has the benefit of a good counselor. One of my friends was betrayed by her counselor in the third meeting, and it's like, you were not experienced enough to handle me. But when you're lucky and you get a good one right off the bat, yes, you'll thrive. You all have what it takes. You're already magnificent human beings, even if you don't see that yet. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to make something I can mosaic into a flower. My dream is to read, think, and write. Well, that sounds good. Yep. Then every day there should be at least a little time every day that you spend doing exactly that. You don't have to get paid for it. You don't have to have a class to turn it into. Write it down. What do you think all these famous writers did? There was nobody testing them or paying them. They wrote because they needed to express themselves that way, just like I did music because at the time that I needed to express myself that way. We're here to be creators. I mean, even the Bible says you were created in the image of God. That sounds great. Those are wonderful things. I pegged you for a creative years ago, and I remember I have told you that you are a creative person and you're going to need outlets. And I thought when you said you wanted to get into law, I thought that was really curious. But I have seen people have be very creative in the spare time when they're not doing a very demanding academic type of job that's got nothing to do with their creativity. Sometimes it even makes them more so because it's such a distinct separation. But not everybody can do that. I certainly couldn't. But that doesn't, I don't mean for you to compare yourself to me because, I'm one of a kind. Oh, being at peace at your age? Peace? You're not even done physically growing. Where are you going to get peace from? This is a time of life when things are like bubbling up from every direction. You're going to be endlessly curious. You're going to have all kinds of weird things going on in your physical body just because of that age. You have to expect some upheaval, but not in a bad way. It's just that you're in a time of life when things are moving really fast. And because you're still experiencing the learning, human 101 at your age, you have a ways to go. You got to take the pressure off yourself. Peace is something you experience at the end of a project or seeing great resolution to an issue. There's moments of peace, but that is not a constant state. You are not here to sit in meditation your entire life. You're here to get up and do things, create things, come up with new ideas or new approaches to things. That's what you're here for. You will not be content being imitative, and you will not be peaceful if you are growing. I mean peaceful insofar as you're not going to start a freaking war or go to battle. But aside from that, inner peace is something that's going to be a gradual thing that you come to as you gain new understandings about your world. You're never going to feel one feeling all the time. You're going to go up and down and back and forth and in and out. That is being human. So that's why I say when people are doing negative self-talk, you have to watch your self-talk, because people talk themselves into failures, into fears, into illness. What we say to ourselves matters. And I know you're at peace changing. You accept the fact that life is change. To think anything else is foolish. I'll go with the yellow. When you are at peace with yourself, meaning you see that yourself as a worthy human, you're not expecting or waiting for other people to give their approval about what you have chosen to do. When you do not hold other people responsible for how you feel or what you do. Yes, at your age and being at home, they're going to limit certain things, and you're kind of stuck with at least some of that. But at the same time, Charlie, you've got the freedom of knowing that if you really, really, really just want to get out, you can. You go find some kind of job, even if it's a shitty job, and see what it takes to find a room to rent in somebody's house. There's all kinds of weird shit out there that can happen if you're open to that. So if you really, really wanted to be completely independent of your parents, all it takes is literally walking away from shit. But you don't want to do that. You've accumulated a bunch of awesome stuff. Why would you want to just walk and give up all of that? I wouldn't if I were you. Well, that was certainly messy. Yep. Nope, that's not going to work. It's too soft, too hard already. All right. We're going to have to do it the hard way. Emma is an excellent example of learning to let go of what is, to focus on what you desire instead, and seeing reality move for her. Opportunities popping up where previously they were not seen. You have more control about what happens in your environment than you understand right now. So, yeah, I do recommend meditating, but, not all day. It's not necessary. Yep. No, I got that, right? It's the holidays, you know, he has a girlfriend. Don't expect a quick response. Yes, I agree, Emma. We cannot demand that other people change to suit us, but we can look to make ourselves free of those restraints. But you have to be careful. You've got to know your environment. You've got to know your people. Emma's not in a place where she can just come out and be herself. And right now, neither are you, Charlie. Girlfriend isn't here in Portugal. Is that what you said? Well, where is Mr. Shiny? I thought Mr. Shiny was in Brazil, and that's where his girlfriend was. In any case, it is a time of being with friends and family in the physical. And one of the things, by the way, that I notice about myself is the more I care about somebody, the longer it takes me to write them a letter, because I want to reserve time to just devote to that special person. And then I find myself like scribbling off quick things for all the other people, and then I'm there like, oh shit, I didn't say anything to them. And then I've got to go back and go, I did not mean to ignore you, of all people. So you have to give people a chance, you know, especially during holidays. Do not make demands of others. Never really. Never make demands of others. Eventually, this person who clearly cared about you and enjoyed his time with you is going to want to connect with you again. So chill out. Hello, Dan. Whoa, what's going on? I don't know, what's going on with you? Happy almost New Year. All right. Good. So what's going on? I am making little cards to send to my 99-year-old friend who's in a nursing home, and to my stepfather who has recently also gone into a nursing home. That's pretty much it right now. I don't know. I'm just there. Where? Here, there, and everywhere? Oh, that's too big. I have to make some decisions here. These are so small, I'm going to probably end up having to use a paper glue instead of the hot glue. All right, we'll just kind of do pinwheel style. Sounds really... Oh, what did I say? My mind is moving all over the place, so not as fast. Security guard, I'm used to do arts and crafts. Oh, well, she's just a little bit older than me. I think that it's wonderful if we can stay creative. In fact, one of the things I've done in our community, I live in an apartment building, and a lot of us are seniors. And many of them are like 10 years older than me. And they're very much more limited in what they can do with their hands and sight, which I definitely relate to. I am 71. I'm the universal grandmother. My grandson and granddaughter are here in the room. Emma and Charlie are my long-distance adopted grandkids. Yeah, there we go. Universal tea room. Well, it was the celestial tea room. I have had so many names over the last 30 years. Galen was the name for my book. A character, a dragon in my book. She's going to star in the third book as well. But I actually used the name Galen professionally for a few years when my first husband was embarrassed by me singing in public at my age. For someone who loved the Grateful Dead, I thought that was a really peculiar attitude, but anyway. So I thought, well, I'd have to change my name to something, and I ended up changing it to Galen legally. And I operated my business under Galen Ferry for a few years. But then I fell in love again, and my second husband loved my real name, so I went back to Adrienne. Yeah, what do you do for fun? We love creative people here. But by the time you reach 71, you have most likely done a few things in your lifetime. I'm definitely one of those busy people. Lay flat. Talking to that. You don't have to lay down at all. Ah, that's wonderful. I used to make music for work. That was my job as an entertainer and songwriter and singer. And I did give that up. Actually, not as far back as when I did stop performing years ago, but during the lockdowns, I started writing a musical, and I did write 8.5 songs. I got stuck on the 9th one because it was a duet, and I desperately needed a second voice. That wasn't my own because I needed it to be with a male, and then we came out of lockdown and we got injections, and then I got busy with other things, and I did not finish writing it. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, you study in a conservatory? Oh, nothing like that for me. You are, yeah, I can't even read music after all these years of playing it. I actually resisted that from age 7 up. I hated reading music. Actually, I have 2 songs that were recorded a long time ago to go with my first novel. And I have them here. I can play them. Matter of fact, by the way, guys, I messed up again today. I started the show, I put the song on. I use one of my songs for the opening, and I forgot to turn the desktop speaker back on. So I sat here and danced around with it, and it wasn't even hearable, so yeah. Oh, the xylophone too? How cool. Well, I'll play something for you, and I'll go put my coffee cup in the sink while I do it, but I will have to warn you. I recorded 4 songs for a friend who paid for the studio session because his wife had a brain tumor and she wanted to hear me, and I moved to North Carolina while she was still in California. So at the same time, somebody moved up the street from me 1 mile away and opened up a studio and offered a special for $140 for a 4-hour session, including everything. And so I grabbed it. He also packed up and moved after I recorded. He didn't last in the neighborhood, but I got my 4 songs, 2 instrumental and 2 with vocals. But I only had 1 take on each song. So, because you know what it takes to put things through a studio. And it was frustrating, I could only get 4 done, but hey, I got them done. And it's the only recordings I have left, because everything I had was recorded, even in a vault of songwriting stuff for the Connecticut Songwriters Association. I was a founding member of that, that's the best I can claim. We had a vault to preserve our music outside of the Library of Congress, and it was all done on little tapes. It's like after all these years, those tapes have pretty much like just, there's nothing. Yeah, Dan, your image looks familiar, but I can't remember. Is this your first time here? Yeah, but, you know, I sang my songs. I did an all original show. So I did 4 sets, 45 minutes, all original, unless I felt like doing cover songs. I started out doing cover like everybody, but I wrote everything. That was my claim to fame locally, all original music. I got so sick of my own shit that years later it's like, you know what? That song sucks, that song's nah. But this is good and this is good. And I got super particular about what I like from my past. And so the fact that I'm going to die without recording all of that, it's really okay. I did write some good stuff. There are people who will remember it. But it's okay. Everything's impermanent. Oh yes, that's right. I'm very nearsighted. So, but at least with a tape. No, it's a regular, not a reel-to-reel. I did recordings on reel-to-reel. Those disappeared. Cassette tapes. I had an 8-track recorder, and yeah, those are all gone. Some stuff I lost in a flood in North Carolina, and then again I lost more shit in Rhode Island and another flood in my basement. We actually had like 4 floods in my basement. Yeah, not 8-track tape. 8-track, well, you know, 4 times 4. Yeah, it was basically a 4-track, so you could always double down, you know the routine. but it was a 4-track that I purchased. But it was still little tapes, you know, not as good as a reel-to-reel. Ah, I have ancestry from Russia and Poland. Or as they used to say, somewhere between Minsk and Pinsk. And no, I do not speak a single word of Russian. Are you in Russia now? I know this looks silly, but it's supposed to, so. No, it needs to be different. Where did I just put it? Oh, over there. Oh, you sound like most Americans right now. Oh, you are in school? You're in a conservatory? I imagine that's somewhat like being in Juilliard. I used to have several people from Russia who followed my show when I was on Blog TV 18 years ago. We stayed in touch for a little while through Facebook, but now I don't do Facebook. And I think it was harder for her to connect. Oh yes, you go into debt for the rest of your life here. They have done everything they can to undermine the education system because stupid people are easier to control. Yeah. And don't even get started on health care, which people go bankrupt over frequently. We have over 30,000 bankruptcies a year just because of medical bills. Oh, that's good. So, yeah, so what are you aiming for? How long can you enjoy that level of education? Is there an end goal, like being part of a symphony or an orchestra, or I don't know how it works in other countries when they are helping you get that education? Come here. Yes, I actually do use all these little silly scraps, but 2.5 more years. Oh, computer music. Very interesting. I guess it will be. That's amazing to know that in advance, that it will be performed. Holy mackerel. That's wonderful. Here you are, it's totally different. There's no comparing the two countries, really, other than we're human, and I believe that all of us would love peace. Oh, wonderful. Really, really, we need a world there where everybody gets served nice portion of galumpkies, maybe some latkes. Just everybody should eat together. Oh, how amazing is that? That's beautiful. That is certainly, that you must have felt really good to hear that. Yeah, I bet. I mean, all those voices. I don't like anything more than I love harmony. And where all my music was, except the choir. Oh, that sucks. Well, it's not forever. They can always change. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. In 3 months? And she still has a job? Oh, that's good. Well, congratulations. That is just wonderful. Oh, no. Wrong brush. Idea. Oh dear. Sorry. Well, hopefully she'll get better at her work and that'll improve things. I did work with a singer who was especially difficult. So much so that I named the villain in my first book after her. However, I wrote my villain so that you could feel for her, you could feel compassion for her, and I didn't make her evil. Oh, yeah. All right, send me the link. Let's get it out there. Well, if you can bear it, I will play one of the songs for you, the one that usually I open up with. I don't have my... Wait, I don't have my sheet music on Spotify? Oh, well, that's okay. I can't read sheet music to save my life. I had to know where to put my hands, and I learned to play by ear, and when I got lost, I just followed the notes up and down the page to get the melody. No. Definitely one of those problematic students who was not ever meant to become a concert pianist. Can you email that to me, Charlie? Oh, well, that's all right. I can listen anyway. I've got an old friend who was making up some, he was doing some old games, their theme songs, which I thought was funny, but also fun. He recreated them on the computer. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, I will turn off the microphone. I will walk into the kitchen and I'll put the song on, and hopefully this time. Okay, the desktop is on, and we'll turn this mic off, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, cool. Well, yeah, I would love to hear it. I believe food and music, the ways to heal the world. And with me, especially food. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. Yeah, it's not usually something we seek out, but hey, if you're here, we will support you. Let's hear it. Aloha. Hey, Maui. I'm going to mute this microphone. I'm going to play the song, and then I'll be back. It's almost 4:20. Let's see if you can guess the title of this song.
I woke up feeling like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, that when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering?
Okay. Yeah, we don't read Russian, but that's cool. Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. Share some culture here. What kinds of things do you like to celebrate for your New Year's movies? What subjects? Like, you have a lot of celebratory stuff, romance, comedy. Oh, okay. Thank you. Irony of fate. Huh. That doesn't sound like necessarily a comedy. I'm a comedy person. I love musical comedy. That's my favorite genre. In fact, to this day, I cannot think of Russia without remembering Fred Astaire and Sid Charisse dancing in silk stockings. The same apartment in Leningrad? You mean like a science fiction double, or is your housing duplicated like that from city to city? Twilight Zone, for those of you who know the reference. So that sounds interesting. It does. It sounds like a lot of potential. I love it. And it could very well be a comedy. I mean, you can take that any way you want. It's very supernatural. Unless all the places look alike in real life, then in that case, it's a different kind of a thing. That's okay. I prefer caps anymore because my vision is lousy. But if it's uncomfortable, I understand, and you don't have to. Soviet cities look alike? Really? Leningrad looks like Moscow? I mean, I would think not the landmarks, but the housing? Not that America is not full of tracts of properties where they all look the same and are forced to maintain their habitats the same. We have an evil here called HOAs, Home Owners Associations. They are a bane on our existence. Ah, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. That's got to be hard on every creative soul in the country. So basically, the movie I watched from the 50s may not be very different from the reality. Soviet apartment blocks, yeah. They look like barracks. Oh, yes. Yeah, I know that you've got some of that in Moscow. The churches are magnificent. I mean, it's kind of like when we think of Russia, we think of the onion roofed churches. And that is another thing. You get free housing, and here every real estate agent would die of a heart attack if you even mentioned something like that. That's communism. They don't want communism here. Or socialism. They don't want socialism. Fascism's okay. Oh. Is it? See, I grew up in New York. So, well, at 19, I got really depressed by the skyscrapers. One day, I was walking around the village in New York City, which coincidentally had a Greek Orthodox church with a big green onion for the roof, which is very much like in Moscow, the church. Yes, I know you do. I've definitely heard of that. You know, we've got a lot of bad influences out there. Uncontrolled capitalism is probably the single greatest evil on the planet at this point. It's destroying our country right now. I mean, in like high speed because of our president. So it's very, yeah, not a good place to be. I would not invite anybody to come visit right now. I'm recommending all my international friends stay away until we have a change in administrations. Moscow subway has two, oh my God, oh my God. That's beyond New York. Yes. Yeah. We need to focus on now and tomorrow. We cannot focus on the past or we will get nowhere. Whatever we don't like, we can feel it in our bodies, our spirits. It tells us what's right and what's wrong. We don't need someone to tell us what's right and wrong. We know what's right. We know it. We feel it. Your feelings tell you. If you feel bad, you're going in the wrong direction. If you feel good, you're going in the right direction. So, you know, we really need to teach more of that than copycatting everybody, trying to be like everybody else, and forcing our ideas on other people. It's like, we're not here to be like everybody. We're here to be unique. We're here to be individuals. That doesn't mean inhumane or not working together. You be yourself, but you have to be yourself in an environment that's encouraging that growth. No, but I will be, because Charlie got the link for you and has emailed it to me, or shall, and I will know. Congratulations on getting your music on Spotify. I thought about it, but then they gave a multi-million-dollar contract to Joe Rogan. And it's like, mm, mm, mm. Oh, of course. Oh. Well, I grew up with opera and classical music. Don't ask me to name much, but that was my earliest influence, classical. I did not hear popular music until I was 7 years old, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, before I heard my first Motown music, because we had a housekeeper who moved in with us, and she was a young girl, and she played music, and that was the first I heard that was not classical music, and it rocked. Like Frankie and Johnny, you know, old stuff. There's so much creativity. It's unfortunate that politics and greed keep it from being shared as much as it can be. So much wonderful stuff coming out of China and Japan, and all over the world. We've got great stuff. India, well, and all the names that I don't know for them yet. Um, it's a very creative planet, and if we spent more time looking at the music, the food, we will see that we really share most of our values. I mean, really do. Oh, yes. No, have not. Well, I would have to say if I have, he would have to be already dead, because I haven't heard anything recent. And like I said, a lot of stuff I didn't even know the name. It played, especially on FM radio. We had classical music stations. And you just turn that on and it goes and goes and goes and goes. 1975. By 75, I was busy with my own career and was not listening to much of anything. I was out there looking for places to play. Well, it's going to be interesting listening to this. I like listening to the voice, but I usually don't understand the words because of my hearing. That's a long-standing issue for me. So my focus is always the rhythm and the melody. Well, let me catch up a little bit with that, because right now I am very distracted with things going on in my own life, and this being the new year, and the things that I want to focus on for the next couple of days, including clearing off everything on my desk, putting a new surface on it, and getting ready to work on my acrylic paintings. I've got some big stuff here that I really have been holding off because I am entertaining two old people whom I love. Definitely go ahead and write it down. I don't know. Yeah, just post it the best way you can, and Charlie will magically make it accessible. I hope that this coming year is everything beautiful that you can even imagine, even better than you can imagine. When we want change in the world, and it's not our world to completely change, but you have your own world, your sphere of influence. Focus on that. Focus on what it takes to feel good. And just wish that for the rest of the world. Well, this did not come out the way I was hoping, but I will make something of it because, that's what you do. The person is very nearsighted. Well, she's worse than that. She's 99 years old and nothing works anymore, really. So I know that anything that she can touch and big enough for her to see will be more satisfying than something finely detailed. Like, everything is going to be a Monet to her. I will be tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yes, I'm still trying to find out why my sound is so bad all of a sudden when we try to film live in the kitchen on the phone. I really want to be cooking tomorrow, and but on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I always do something I love. That means I will be doing some painting tomorrow, I'll be doing some cooking tomorrow, and what you won't be seeing is what I'm writing tomorrow. Well, I will sing I will sing you off to sleep. I always sing Charlie off to sleep. And it's time for him to chill out too. Charlie, remember, use your higher self to converse with other higher selves with love, openness to impressions. Let your spirit talk to yourself when you lay down to go to sleep. And you'll see things smoothing out, and just keep saying things are going to be better than expected, better than expected. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. I'll be back tomorrow, definitely. That's all I can sing, because it'll sound like somebody else's song and I'll get a copyright strike. So y'all have a good night. I'm going to go too. I'll see you tomorrow, guys and gals. Thanks for joining us, Dan.